and welcome to another edition of Flipping Grand Bahama News, where we concentrate on developments and business going on in Grand Bahama, the Bahamas, and around the region. I'm your host, Yasmin Popescu. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. Flipping Grand Bahama. It's all about looking at where we are and working on ways to make us better. We're also giving updates on new and exciting things that are going on the island. Catch us every Tuesday and Friday, and coming soon, video news on Thursdays. Flipping Grand Bahama. We're keeping you informed. The Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Perry Christie, presented the 2014-2015 budget to Parliament last week, during which he spoke of investments in Grand Bahama. He said that his government's focused attention to turning around the faltering economy of Grand Bahama is bearing tangible results and attracting significant major investments. Tourism, he said, which has been in the doldrums for far too long, is now growing at a faster rate than in New Providence, and leading the way in the growth of air arrivals for the entire Bahamas. As a result of a joint venture between government, Sunwing of Canada, and Hutchison Whampoa, a new day in tourism has dawned on Grand Bahama, he said. The Prime Minister said that since its opening in February, the Memories Grand Bahama Beach Resort has delivered much needed stimulus to the Grand Bahama economy by attracting additional airlift and overnight arrivals from Canada, the United States, resulting in increased hotel occupancy and the creation of hundreds of jobs. Having successfully completed their 6-city Canadian winter flight program, he said that Sunwing's USA subsidiary, Vacation Express, in partnership with Bahamas Air, has introduced weekly 737-400 non-stop jet service from 8 U.S. cities into Grand Bahama Island, which started May 1st and will run through October 31st each year. As a consequence, the number of international arriving passengers at the Grand Bahama International Airport for the period January through April 2014, he said, is up by 10,679 passengers, or 25.16%. The number of incremental seats to the destination from the U.S. via the Vacation Express Bahamas Air program, he said, is 66,000, combined with 34,000 from Canada, for a total of 100,000 seats, or a projected increase in visitor arrivals of 71,000 passengers, representing 460,450 visitor nights overall, and incremental tourism earnings of $75 million. The Prime Minister went on to say that the summer program signals Grand Bahama's return to major gateways in the New York, Tri-State, and Washington, D.C. areas, with flights from Newark, New Jersey, Baltimore, Maryland, and Richmond, Virginia, as well as other important leisure gateways such as Birmingham, Alabama, Cincinnati, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, and Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. The addition of the Memories Resort brand to Grand Bahama has helped to drive higher hotel occupancy levels overall, he stated, noting that the week-long vacation package has increased the average length of stay for the destination, and visitors on all-inclusive package illustrate a desire to purchase tour excursions, increasing the demand for additional destination activities. He added that the Hotel Corporation has issued a certificate of consent for the new operator to apply to the Gaming Board for a casino license, and that the licensing process should be completed in the next several weeks following the completion of the due diligence and the probity investigations. He went on to say that the good news for Grand Bahama goes further in that revival and expansion of the Grand Bahama economy is on course to extend to the shipping industry and other commercial sectors. He said this has been achieved as a result of his government's reaching out to the Grand Bahama Port Authority and its major licensees, beginning with the principals of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Hutchison Ports, and Mediterranean Shipping Company to ascertain whether they would be willing to give an undertaking to proceed with major new developments if the government were to reconsider certain 2013 fiscal increases as they relate to the application of customs processing fees, an environmental levy, and stamp taxes on the remittance or transfers outside the Bahamas. The Prime Minister said that after extensive negotiations, the three parties have signed a memorandum of understanding with the government for the development of Phase 5 of the Freeport Container Port at a cost of $200 to $250 million, and the technological and other upgrades to accommodate the further growth of 1 million containers annually to be generated by MSC Shipping from the opening date of the late 2015 expansion of the Panama Canal. This expansion, he said, will create an additional 150 direct jobs, some 450 indirect jobs, and substantially increase the opportunity of attracting a large range of ancillary and spin-off businesses. He added that simultaneously, similar discussions were held with several other major licensees of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and as a result of the following, other companies have committed to significant economic expansion and additional job creation. These are Grand Bahama Shipyard, Pharmachem Technologies, Polymers International, and Bradford Marine. During the recent Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce meeting, the President Barry Malcolm expressed his disappointment with a lack of public discussions on the three parts of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement that are to end in August 2015.
August 2015 is really only 14 months away, and I said business person, the long-time resident of Freeport, they still find it stunning that at this point in time there's no apparent definitive conversation and engagement as to what is going to be the fate of Freeport post August 2015. Fundamentally important for all of us as people who live and work and make our homes here in America.
The articles he referred to are from Section 2.6, which says that no real property taxes or rates and no real property levies, whether capital or periodic of any kind, shall be levied, charged, or collected by the government within the port area or upon or against any land, building, or structure within the port area, that no personal property taxes or rates and no capital levies and no taxes of capital gains or capital appreciation shall be levied, charges, or collected by the government within the port area or upon or against any personal property within the port area, or upon or against the shares, debentures, or other securities of any company incorporated within or without the colony, and with its registered office and principal place of business within the port area. And for the purpose of this subclause of this clause, the term principal place of business shall mean that the place where not less than 8% of the volume of a company's business and trade within the colony is transacted, provided always that the exemptions granted by this subclause shall extend only to personal property, shares, debentures, or securities of the Port Authority or any licensee actively engaged within the port area in one or more of the classes of business set out in the subclauses 23(1) of Clause 2 of this agreement, or in such other businesses or businesses as the Governing Council, his discretion may from time to time approve. Further, there would be no taxes of any kind levied upon or against the earnings of the Port Authority in the port area and outside the colony, or upon or against the earnings of a licensee in the port area and outside the colony, or against any rentals or license fees paid by any licensee or by a license to the Port Authority or upon or against any interest of dividends paid by the Port Authority or by any lessee company of the Port Authority or by a license of the holder of the evidence indebtedness and or shares or other securities of the Port Authority, of a company holding such license from the Port Authority, or of a licensee, or upon or against any salaries and remunerations by way of bonus participation in profits, commissions, or otherwise paid by the Port Authority, or by any lessee from the Port Authority, or by a licensee to any person employed by the Port Authority, or by such lessee, or by a license within the port area, provided that the person receiving such salary and or remuneration is ordinarily resident within the port area. It is good to note that at the time of the signing of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, the Bahamas was still a colony. Also on the topic of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce attorney, Carrie Leonard, spoke at the Chamber's meeting recently, giving an update on a case they are pleading to and against the government concerning the recent implemented customs management tax.
We've asked for a declaration that the fees are contrary to Articles 15 and 27 of the Constitution, in that it abrogates such licensees' rights under the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement without adequate compensation. So you note that nobody's attacking anybody. All we're saying is, please explain what the laws mean and what you, the court, how you, the court, interpret it. We've also asked for a declaration that the environmental levy, that's the one set out in Regulation 143, which is payable on goods specified in the second schedule, the environmental levy, and a declaration that the environmental levy falls within the definition of the term customs duties, as defined under Section 2.1 of the HCA. And that under the terms of the HCA, the environmental levy is not payable by Port Authority licensees in respect of those goods. The stamp duty, otherwise payable under item 51A of the second schedule of the Stamp Act, is not payable by licensees of the Port Authority, where the sums are remitted or transferred represent dividends of a Port Authority license. If you read the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, it's very clear that there are to be no levies, no stamp duties, no nothing.
In news from the Grand Bahama Port Authority, last week, following 3 days of intense training, ProNet's Export Marketing and Management module concluded. This program provided participants with training in market research, strategy development, and the meticulous execution required to take their businesses global. President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority Limited, Ian Roll, was present for the closing session, where he expressed thanks to the Caribbean Export Development Agency for their ongoing participation. He noted to attendees the importance of a GBPA's relationship with CEDA in promoting growth and capacity building within Grand Bahama's SME sector. This initiative, he said, was hosted as a collaborative effort between CEDA and the GBPA's Enterprise Center, stating that while it reflects CEDA's mandate to build trade capacity and competitiveness within SMEs regionally, it also demonstrates GBPA's commitment to foster growth, stability, and sustainability for Freeport's economy through its small business sector. He said the port is therefore delighted to partner with CEDA and are grateful for their continued support. Export Marketing and Management is the third module to be offered to small businesses this year. Modules 1 and 2, Business Strategy and Finance Management, were hosted during March and April respectively. All very well attended. The class of more than 35 small business owners spanned a number of economic sectors, including manufacturing, retail, agriculture and fisheries, handicraft, construction, and numerous others. CEDA Representative Kevin Jones, advisor, Competitiveness and Innovation, welcomed participants to the training on behalf of CEDA. Jones also announced CEDA's special call for proposals in food safety that would allow Cariform agro-processing firms to receive financial assistance as part of the Regional Private Sector Development Program funded by the European Union's 10th European Development Fund. Submission deadline for proposals is July 9, 2014. Additionally, Jones noted the opportunity for EU market access for businesses within the agro-processing sector and encouraging firms which are already exporting or are very close to being export ready to participate. We'll be back with national news.
Flipping Grand Bahama. It's all about looking at where we are and working on ways to make us better. We're also giving updates on new and exciting things that are going on the island. Catch us every Tuesday and Friday. And coming soon, video news on Thursdays. Flipping Grand Bahama. We're keeping you informed.
Welcome back. Great news coming out of another family island as the new $38 million airport at Marsh Harbor on Abaco opened last week. According to reports, at 6 a.m. on May 27th, the new Leonard M. Thompson International Airport opened its doors, and shortly after, some 7 passengers, the first to disembark at this new airport, came from Bahamas Air and walked into the new building and into history. The $30 million terminal and air traffic control and crash rescue buildings, which began construction in September 2011, enjoyed a soft opening that brought to a close the long saga of delays and is said to have finally given Abaconians an airport terminal they can be proud of. Bobby Jones, assistant airport manager, said it was a good day for Abaco, having realized the existence of a brand new airport terminal that will service not only Abaconians, but persons traveling to Abaco. He said that for the occasion, all security personnel arrived on time, and when Bahamas Air and Sky Bahamas arrived, all passengers were processed efficiently. Mr. Jones said they're now looking forward to greater airlift to Abaco, bringing more revenue to the community and spurring more business in the community. Also, in his budget communication last week, the Prime Minister, Perry Christie, said their plan consists of 4 key parts: growing the economy, restraining expenditure, enhancing revenue administration, and securing new sources of revenue. Through this plan, and in combination with their actions to strengthen economic growth, he said they are fundamentally and in a balanced way reforming the structure of a public finance in such a way that these are to return to a position of sustainable viability. And he said they are doing so responsibly and gradually, fully mindful of the need to sustain the forward momentum of our economy. He then stressed the important role that he sees for private sector partnerships in facilitating new public infrastructure projects in an effective way that minimize the costs and risks to government. This is an area to which he said they will be directing focused attention in the future. On this score, he highlighted that they are advancing the National Housing Program through an aggressive private-public partnership arrangement. Through this PPP, he said they will begin the construction of hundreds of homes, whereby the government will provide the land and private developers will partner with the government to fund and develop infrastructure and fund and construct affordable homes. The Bahamas Mortgage Corporation and other approved private lenders will participate in the program by providing mortgages to deserving and qualified homeowners.
Flipping Grand Bahama. It's all about looking at where we are and working on ways to make us better. We're also giving updates on new and exciting things that are going on the island. Catch us every Tuesday and Friday, and coming soon, video news on Thursdays. Flipping Grand Bahama. We're keeping you informed.
In Caribbean news, in recognition of its continued commitment to the Caribbean, HBO Latin America is being honored with the 2014 Alliance Award from Investment Caribbean Now for its outstanding service and continued investment towards expansion and growth of the Caribbean. According to a recent release, HBO has contributed to the region's economic development by supporting the media sector and forming strategic partnerships with service providers in several countries, including Aruba, Bahamas, Barbados, Bonaire, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Curacao, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Martin, St. Vincent, and Trinidad and Tobago. The prestigious recognition was awarded on June 4th at the Harvard Club in New York at the biggest investment summit in the Caribbean outside the region. Javier Figueroas, Corporate Vice President of Affiliate Relations at HBO Latin America, commented that they are honored to receive the 2014 Alliance Award and are very grateful for their partners in the Caribbean, whose relationships they value as they continuously bring the best in television entertainment to their customers with their award-winning programming. He continued to say that HBO will continue in its efforts to support the development of the Caribbean, and he said they look forward to strengthening and expanding relationships with other partners throughout the region. In Antigua, military and security forces from around the Caribbean are said to have joined the United States and Canada for maritime security and disaster response training as part of Exercise Trade Winds 2014. Trade Winds is conducted in two main phases. Phase 1, the maritime phase, which is held in Antigua and Barbuda, June 1st through June 10th, and Phase 2, the land portion, which will be held in the Dominican Republic, June 16th to 25th. The exercise supports the Caribbean Basin Securities Initiative, a regional security partnership between CARICOM member states, the Dominican Republic, and the United States of America. Taking part in maritime training are units from the host nation, Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force, as well as National Police and Coast Guard units from the Bahamas, Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. Some of the participating vessels are interceptors and patrol boats provided to partner nations as part of CBSI's Secure Seas program. The crews of these vessels will train alongside members of the United States Coast Guard and the Royal Canadian Navy, which is also providing a fleet dividing team and Kingston-class maritime patrol vessel HMCS Summerside.
Flipping Grand Bahama. It's all about looking at where we are and working on ways to make us better. We're also giving updates on new and exciting things that are going on the island. Catch us every Tuesday and Friday, and coming soon, video news on Thursdays. Flipping Grand Bahama. We're keeping you informed.
In international news, in the latest report from the International Monetary Fund, Managing Director Christine Lagarde said last week that the banking reforms aimed at preventing another financial crisis has failed to make enough progress. She was said to have blamed a combination of the complexity involved, industry lobbying, and fatigue for the delay. She said in a report that the industry still prizes short-term profit over long-term prudence. She added that inequality was an issue too. She commented on the extent that inequality is not particularly supportive of sustainable growth. It's an issue and one that we have to look at carefully and try to address in order to maintain stability and sustainability of economies. Thanks for watching. I'm Yasmin Popescu and this is Flipping Grand Bahama News. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Don't forget to like and share. If you want to sponsor or include your ad, call us at 727-6909. That's 727-6909. Until then, be good.